A massive thank you to Brandon, Skylar, C-Deer and Notorious Leo for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with more of our F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yesterday we're here back for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out yesterday's video from Monaco, I would definitely recommend going back and checking out, of course, before we dive into today's race. But we got a little bit of money in the bank. We got a lot of R&D points as well that we need to try and get through ready for this weekend. At the moment, I'm trying to do more of the quality control upgrades across the departments. I think it's going to be really important over the coming Grand Prix. You know, we need to be getting those upgrades on the car more consistently. So we'll save our money for now. You can see in terms of development, we've currently got 2 in progress, but we're going to try and add a couple more here. But you can see at the moment, though, doing pretty well there. Between Alpine even, and Ferrari, they're a long way now ahead of the likes of Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri as well there. We'll try and get a couple more engine upgrades on the car if possible. So we'll go with the crankshaft that should be ready for Canada. We'll also go with the magnetic compound as well. That one all sounds very interesting. Ready for France. And then we'll try and go with a chassis upgrade if possible as well. There we go. We'll go with the tyre blankets as well. They're ready for Canada as well in a couple of races times there. So plenty of upgrades still in the works at the moment. 5 upgrades currently going on the car, which could really bring us towards the front of the field as well here. But yeah, we've got a few more things we need to get done as well, of course, before we dive into this Grand Prix weekend. Hopefully, yeah, we need to try and improve our teammates' sort of motivation and stuff. Obviously, hasn't had a good run at the start of the year so far, but I think hopefully as well we got another couple of upgrades that are meant to be coming in ready for this Grand Prix weekend. And we've got the MGU-H improved materials and the Halo upgrade as well there, and that hasn't gone through.
Some new developments to come through, but some of them have failed quality control. We'll need to tell the team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
That is rather annoying for a durability upgrade. The whole point of it is it doesn't fail, or it stops the car from failing, and unfortunately, yeah, the upgrade itself has failed. Will we get the Halo? No, we will not. F1 just seems to pick and choose. Like, it just decides one time round when you're on here. It's like, yeah, no upgrade is going to work this time round. That is 603 points as well, so we're going to have to wait another couple of weeks before we can get that one on the car there. But, so it does mean Aston Martin and Ferrari have pulled away a little bit. Let's dive in, though, to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Right, so here we are then, back in Azerbaijan, round 4 of the year. I must admit, Monaco and Baku being this early on into a calendar does still seem rather strange to me here on F1 2021, but we almost scored our first points last season around this circuit. Obviously just missed out to George Russell. Obviously it was the only time Williams scored points over the course of last year as well. Seems weird to say that now, because obviously in real life 2021, 10 points now on the board for Williams as well. Things you love to see. But fingers crossed, you know, this weekend, I think the main aim, of course, is we get at Q1. We also try and get ourselves back towards the points again, obviously after the disappointment in Monaco last time round. But, yeah, just trying to slowly build up the pace once more. Trying not to just go 110% all weekend. Coming to the end of our free practice race simulation run, though. Straight line speed has always looked pretty good in this car so far. It'll be interesting to see how the Renault power unit stacks up this weekend. But you can see we come out of that final corner pretty much even with the Delta. And I know I said this last season as well there, but I mean, we've used no overtake mode down this straight. I think we used a tiny splash at the start of it, and we're making pretty much a second up on the Delta there, more than a second, as we head down towards the start-finish line there. 1.2.
Great lap. You've nailed what we asked for.
We've got a missile down the straights. Right, coming to the end then of our qualifying run. We're way down on the pace, so we head through the final couple of corners here, but hopefully we can try and clutch back up the Delta. It is starting to come the other way once more. Is it going to be enough, though? I don't think it is. There's no way we're going to be able to make up another second inside the DRS zone here. It's going to come down a fair bit, though. But yeah, a long way off the qualifying sim run there.
Well, program over, but that wasn't much help to us. We need it again, I'm afraid.
Don't see why we're struggling so much still with qualifying pace. Hopefully this weekend we can make Q2, although the prediction isn't saying so. Right, we need no messing around, no mistakes, no nothing this qualifying session. We need a simple Q2 is the big aim at the very least there, and hopefully we can actually out-qualify our teammate Schwartzman for the first time this year as well, of course. He's had no luck in the races, unlike ourselves, but yeah, Schwartzman has been very, very good over one lap pace so far this year. Through the first couple of corners all nice and tidy. That was pretty good, getting on the power. Always difficult there. The qualifying simulation run is so difficult to try and get right there. But fingers crossed, you know, we can build up some good time in qualifying. Break at the 100-meter ball there. That just about got squeezed in. Lundgaard, I think, has done a 37.7 as a pretty decent benchmark for us. As we come through the final couple of corners of our first lap there. Try not to unsettle the car over the curb. Scrub off as little speed as possible. As you now get ready for the DRS activation point. There we go. How far away are we going to be from Lundgaard? Hopefully in the green. 35, 36, 36.8. Quicker than Guan Yu Zhou. Only 6 tenths off Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren. Surely that is going to be a good lap time. So there we go. Then at the end of Q1, Carlos Sainz fastest on a 35.8 there. Have we made it through into Q2 though? Yes, we have. P16. I didn't think it would be that close in the end, but we did make it through on the one run there. Obviously beating out both Alphas, both Williams and both Haas cars at the end of the session, but less than a second separating the top 16 there. But we finally have made it through into Q2 for the first time this year. Let's see, maybe, just maybe, we can try and look towards Q3 there. There does seem to be a bit of a gap though. Obviously the likes of the Alpines, us and the Alpha Tauris are definitely a little bit off still. Right, come on then, this has got to be a good lap. Maybe the chance of Q3 is on the table today, or at least push ourselves a bit up the order. A little bit more, you know. If we could sort of get like 12 on the grid might be good. You know, just so we can then be right there ready to pounce on the points if possible here. But we'll wait and see. Bit of a mistake through turn 2. But yeah, fingers crossed we can get this first lap hooked up. Of course, we have got 2 sets of tyres for this run as well, which is really important. Does mean if we find a little bit more time as we run a bit deep there. Yeah, if we find a bit more time, we can afford to go for 2 runs and push ourselves towards that top 10. Max Verstappen's done a 36.4 on his first run, so that roughly will be around top 10 pace there. It's not actually a particularly great lap from Max. I wonder if the track's getting slightly colder. There we go, Charles Leclerc, 36.0. Carlos Sainz, of course, the man to beat in Q1. Ferrari very quick around this track, it appears. In Season 2, through the final couple of corners though. What are we going to be able to achieve in this Q2 session here? Can we get a good benchmark on the board? It's a shame we're not a little bit closer to the car in front. Get a little bit of slipstream there. I can't work out if that's our teammate or Carlos Sainz. We end up 37.1. Quicker than Schwartzman again, but a long way off Verstappen, who's the next car up the road. Right, clock's ticking down then, but we are going to get a second run in this session. Currently sat in P13. We only need another couple of tenths if we want to get closer to the likes of Stroll and Guan Yu Zhou in this session there. Gasly still seems to be ringing everything out of that Alpha Tauri there as we head through turn 1. That was pretty nice. Tiny bit in the red, but that's okay. Bit braver on the brakes into turn 2. Get on the power nice and tidy on the exit. Oh, a little bit short shifting, but already a quarter of a second up on our first run here. So now we need to try and make sure we minimise the mistakes over the rest of the lap there. Hamilton goes purple. So again, we found another 10th. Thought we'd outbroke ourselves there, but we got it slowed down. In through the castle section. Dance it through the walls. Really try and get as close to that wall on the exit as you possibly can there. And then short shift over the curb now. Half a second up as we head in towards the old town here. We've got to make sure we don't do anything stupid though. Through these final couple of corners, keep the delta locked in roughly where it's at. Oh, nudge the wall there as we found another 10th somehow. Really just pushing this thing to the absolute limit as we head through the final corner. Could we make it through into Q3 for the first time this season? Already had a couple of Q3 outings last year, but haven't had anything so far. No luck in qualifying up to this stage of the year there. It's going to be 5.5 tenths up as we come towards the line there. Stroll, though, is only a couple of tenths quicker than myself. Is this going to be enough for Q3? We got yellow flags behind us. It's a 36.5. Is it enough? P11. Oh, it hurts. You hate to see it. Oh, 100th of a second behind Pierre Gasly there. That is heartbreaking at the end of qualifying, but we gave it our all and it just only wasn't enough at the end of the session. They're happy to be 7 tenths clear though of our teammate Robert Schwartzman at the end of that lap there. But that is heartbreaking. Yeah, to be that close to our first Q3 appearance of the year. But it will give us fresh rubber for the start. You know, the medium hard might be the way to go over the course of the Grand Prix today. Then Lando Norris certainly one to watch mediums into Q3. But yeah, let's dive in then here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
A warm welcome to all of you watching at home to today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and a race that in its short history has already proven no stranger to drama. A fourth row start is just about as likely to give you a podium as a pole position would. And remember, in 2017 and 2018, both Lance Stroll and then Sergio Perez took surprise podiums here. The Baku City Circuit measures roughly 6 kilometers and is made up of 20 corners and 2 DRS zones. The circuit winds around the narrow city, through the old town, and even brushes against the city's medieval walls. However, as beautiful as the setting is, this track is also a ferocious technical challenge, where the smallest of mistakes could lead to catastrophic consequences for all of our drivers. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position today, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Leclerc, Yuki Tsunoda, and Perez, Verstappen, Sainz, Gasly, and George Russell, Mr. Monaco, Stroll, and Guan Yu Zhou, and Ocon, Schwartzman, Fernando Alonso, Christian Lundgaard, and Valtteri Bottas, Giovinazzi, Latifi, Mick Schumacher, and Nikita Mazepin. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, well here we are then, ready on the grid, round 4 of the year. Here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and just like I said, yeah, the medium soft, the medium hard even, I should say, seems to be the good way to go here today. Safety cars, though, are always a likely occurrence here in Baku. We didn't get a safety car at Monaco, though, last time round. We had a safety car at Spain. I was going to say, we even had a safety car so far this year. Of course, the roadblock at Spain definitely required a safety car in that Grand Prix. But I just want to dive right into it today. Start in P11, hopefully to score points. We're going to have a bit of an easier run than we've had done so far this year. But waiting then on those 5 red lights. We've got Stroll behind us on hards. We've got 5 red lights. And it is a very long hole, but it is lights out. And away we go. We'll go defensive in towards turn 1. Oh, very, very brave on the brakes there. Was not had any intention of doing that. So we'll actually get up the inside of George Russell there and straight up then into P10 of the Grand Prix then. No idea why George is trying to turn in on me through turn 2, but we won't worry about that all too much there. And then, yeah, looks like McLaren going to be very, very strong this weekend as well. There is everyone just fanning out down this next straightaway. Or thought about it on Carlos Sainz, but thought better of it this time round. There is just lap 1. Oh, we got a VSC. No one's had issues.
The virtual safety car has just been deployed due to a build-up of debris on the track.
Has there been something towards the rear? I can't see anyone with issues. Very, very strange. Well, I've had a look on the replays and couldn't find anything, so not too sure what that's all about early on here in Baku. Not too sure if someone's picked up a little bit of front wing damage. We might see someone dive it in at the end of lap 1 here, but if anything, this has probably helped us out a bit. Meant that the medium, or the soft runners even, can be a little bit closer.
Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
Right, come on, I want to go racing again here. I want to try and get a nice run out the final corner. If possible, try and use some of the straight line speed advantage we've got.
Green, maintain positive delta until the green flags.
Oh, come on. Don't want to... There we go, green flags. Bit of a lift out the final corner there, but it is green flag racing once more, as hopefully now Sainz and I are going to get a bit of a run up here. Gasly, as we head back down towards turn 1 here. Like I said, yeah, this has really helped us out. It's kept us a lot closer to all these guys on their soft compound tyres here. Out in towards turn 1. Oh, we thought about having a look up around the outside of Sainz there, but just not enough grip. Almost hit the wall through turn 1. As Russell now applying the pressure. He's going to send it up the inside through turn 2. Oh, we nudged the wall that time. Hopefully got away with that without any damage. It's going to be a drag race down the back straightaway here. Renault versus Mercedes power. And looks like this time around it's a pretty even duel in towards turn 3. Neither of us are willing to back out just yet. There is again, we almost hit the wall. Have the inside for 4 though, surely now. This is a done deal. No, Russell Russell's not giving up on this. Fair play to him. This is a great little battle at the start of the Grand Prix. I mean, we've lost 2 seconds to Sainz because of it. Around the outside. Oh, that's a little bit deep in towards Russell's path. But we have now made it work there. And look at that, almost 3 wide behind us. Come on, simmer back down, Matt, as Guan Yu Zhou tries to go for the heroics. I think he's pulled off the move there, so Russell's lost 2 places in one go. But through the castle section, all nice and easy still. Yeah, we've lost 3 seconds to the guys in front, though. That might not have been sensible. Trying to get Guan Yu Zhou out of that DRS range as we head out of the final corner. It's hovering about that 9/10 there. We just about get it out there as well. Look at that, some very, very aggressive defending coming from Sergio Perez. They're almost forcing Sainz towards the wall. This does not seem like a fun place to be for Carlos Sainz there as they head back down towards turn 1. They're right over the pit line, and look at that. That is not great driving from Sergio Perez, I'll be honest. Certainly pushing it to the limit, sort of almost Schumacher Barrichello Hungary 2010-esque there. Not a fan of that one, I'll be honest with you. Because of all that battling though, it might allow us to get within the 1 second range of these two just in front of us. So we head down the hill in towards Sector 3 there. Yeah, look at that. The gap now down to 0.8 of a second. So we've been given a bit of a lifeline in this Grand Prix. Won't be able to go for anything yet. If these two keep battling as aggressively as they are, might be able to get a bit more here. So Perez into the pits at the end of lap 4 there. So not too sure what that's all about. We've got one of the Mercedes, Hamilton, in as well.
Top 10 now. Keep it up.
So they must have taken a lot out of their tyres in qualifying and then early on in the race there. But I mean, 4 laps. And with a VSC, that is not great by them. Now also, I mean, Carlos Sainz hasn't got much to defend himself from. If we use some DRS to get a bit closer here, and of course with the ERS as well, might be able to go for a bit of a run there. One of the McLarens into the pits, I think that's Ricciardo. Gasly as well in. So everyone diving in really, really early in this Grand Prix here. We're going to be able to P3. This race might be P2 there as we go deep down around the outside of Carlos Sainz through turn 1 there. And look at that! Into P2 now of the Grand Prix. And surely it's not going to be long before Lando Norris dives it in. No, he's on mediums as well, of course. So Lando's going to really be able to extend this stint. And Sainz has got nothing left on those softs already. Just monitoring the gaps as we cross over onto lap 10 of the Grand Prix. There is Lando's in. That's rather early. If he's still trying to one-stop this one, it is mean we're going to re-inherit... Well, we're going to inherit the lead of the Grand Prix for the first time here. But I was just about to say, we've been pretty much just moving into no man's land. We had Guan Yu Zhou, dropping back a little bit lap after lap there, and Lando pulling away just a 10th or 2 lap after lap. But he's got onto softs. So all of these guys trying to two-stop this one. So Hamilton now is in a... Well, effectively, I guess you can say the net lead of the Grand Prix. But everyone's still got another stop to make. So I guess technically we're now in the net lead of this race. With 8 seconds to defend from Lewis Hamilton. A half a second a lap. But we could, yeah, be on for a big result this weekend. There we go, so Guan Yu Zhou now has boxed in, and Hamilton and Norris duking it out for effectively, yeah, well, I mean, it's P3 in the Grand Prix, because again, we've all only got one more stop to make here. So they are, yeah, certainly having a battle as best of the British, although I say that, and we're leading this, so I don't really know what's going on in this Grand Prix, as you can probably tell, but we're trying to drive quick and get to the finish line.
Strategy is available on the MFD.
What's the new strat? Basically the same, We'll pit in the next one still. Yeah, we're basically just trying to get to the end in as little time as possible. We're letting as little cars get there ahead of us. That's the aim. What we really need is an Alonso defensive masterclass like we saw at Hungary. Especially as it's against Lewis Hamilton there. But I'm not his teammate, unfortunately. Ocon's behind him. And as soon as I say that, Lando seems to have snuck by. Lando's literally pit again already. He's done like 2 laps on those softs and he's already had enough of them. Are the softs that bad this weekend? Hamilton now up into P2. We've got the Alpine still in P3 and P4, which we need to be careful of because obviously we're in a good championship battle with them early on. But yeah, this is very, very weird. Right, round in the final couple of corners then. These medium tyres, yeah, have certainly got a little bit dicey right towards the end of the stint, and it appears Alonso has let everyone by in this Grand Prix now, but into the pits we come. Oh, that was brave. Really, yeah, got to chuck it into the pit lane here. If you're not sending it, you're not doing it right. Hamilton's therefore going to re-inherit the lead. Alonso's lost yet another place, as he's now going to dive it in as well there. So Ocon and Leclerc are going to fly past. Why is Schwartzman pit? It's always been our pit lap. Right, don't get penalised as well, I remember that.
No more scheduled
pit limiter. I don't know why, unless he's picked up damage, why on earth our teammates pit as well there. But we're still in the points, actually, at this stage of the day, and everyone else has got a pit still. We're in good stead here, I think. I'll be honest, these hards don't feel too great off the restart there, as we have got Esteban Ocon and Nicholas Latifi now into the pit lane there. Yeah, I hadn't spotted Latifi was running up in the points, as George Russell tries to close in on us. Using a lot of our battery to keep the Aston Martin at bay, because I just don't want to get stuck battling him. There we go, top runners into the pits again here, so we're going to wait and see how far back Hamilton is going to be behind us. A load of cars into the pits, actually, at the end of that one there. So, I mean, everyone else in front is still going to have to pit once more. Carlos Sainz should, yeah, be able to go quite deep, though. So we head back through turn 1 and turn 2. Hamilton is going on to hards as well, and he's only about 5 seconds back. Oh. Everyone else pretty much in front of us into the pit lane, and hopefully Guan Yu Zhou. No, Guan Yu Zhou behind is staying out once more. Hamilton's already taken about a second out of us there, but it was Tsunoda leading, I think, for the first time this Grand Prix. He has led a couple of Grand Prix before. He actually led here last season, if you remember, in his Alpha Tauri. But yeah, at the moment, we're hanging on in, but we've got a lot of very quick cars. Very quickly going to be breathing down our neck. Hamilton now, 3.5 behind with 9 to go.
Panic just yet, but we've seen a problem at our end. We're looking into it.
No. No, 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 no. No, please not whilst we're leading this Grand Prix. We've had some heartbreak before in F1 2021, but we have genuinely got a big shot at a very, very good score here today. I'm thinking podium genuinely might be doable at the end of this one.
I'm afraid. Seems like an engine issue.
No. Please. Is it going to be failure? Or are we going to be able to get this thing to the flag still? Guan Yu Zhou applying more and more pressure. We are struggling with it. Carlos Sainz is out of the race. What's happened to him? And then at the Ferrari. Oh, yeah, that's gone up properly. Poor old Carlos Sainz there has had a mechanical failure. And that's another Ferrari power unit gone up in smoke early on this year. But I'm hoping we aren't about to see the same fate. Normally, if a power unit was going to go, it would have gone by now in this Grand Prix. So I've got no idea what on earth we're running on, or how big the issue is. Let's have a look at the engine status. I mean, the ICE is pretty worn, but we wouldn't get a warning for that, surely. Yeah, surely by now the engine would have gone up if it was going to here. Guan Yu Zhou, though, still defending from Hamilton. Is he now going to pit in this Grand Prix? No, Guan Yu Zhou, is he doing it? No, Guan Yu Zhou's staying out there. He goes mighty defensive, though.
Our teammate by 18.8 seconds.
No idea what position our teammate's in this Grand Prix, but Hamilton does get past Guan Yu Zhou in this race. And now he's going to be hunting me down with 7 to go. But we've still got questions about what on earth's happening to the power unit. Right, heading out the front a couple of corners then. Let's see what Hamilton's got in that Mercedes there. As again, you can see the back end just sliding around a little bit at the front a couple of the corners here. We don't have much battery left, but we are going to try and defend from Hamilton as best as possible late on in this Grand Prix. And look at that, he's barely gaining in on us. Guan Yu Zhou's dived it in. Once we let out the battery, Hamilton does take a bit more out of us. But yeah, with 6 to go, maybe this isn't over. We just can't afford any mistakes like that. Well, you can see Hamilton there is waiting to pounce. So as I said, that would make another one through turn 2. Can we get a run down in towards turn 3 though? Hamilton gaining in, but we'll go defensive. Sit right in the middle of the road there. Hamilton having a look around the outside. Oh, another big kick of wheel spin. Tyres aren't in great shape, and Hamilton, yeah, must be looking at this thinking he's going to make a mistake soon. Oh, this time around, Hamilton's a lot closer. So we head out of the final corner. We're going to have to pretty much drain the battery. So we head back down towards turn 1 here, but Hamilton, you can see, still not gaining enough on us. So we head back down in towards the first corner there. We're having to just let out the battery, take it out of overtake mode as late as we dare, just to try and hold on to this race lead, but still try and conserve just a little bit for when we need it. But we are pushing like crazy towards the end. We've got such a train of cars behind us. I think Gasly now, in his Alpha Tauri, is in this group. Well, I want to lose as few places as possible by the end. 3 laps to go here, and Hamilton again. He's just getting closer and closer, lap after lap, as we head through this final chicane where we're going to have to drain the battery this time around. Hamilton so much closer than he has been before, and I think he's really trying to go for it now. You can see now right in the wheel tracks as we head back down towards turn 1 there. To the outside goes Lewis Hamilton. Can we possibly hang on? So we head back down towards turn 1. We're going to be super aggressive on the brakes, but we get it slowed down there. We force Hamilton back into place. And at the moment, 3 to go. Can we cause the upset of the season here? Charles Leclerc's clearly had enough and has now dived his way past Lewis Hamilton in this Grand Prix to try and give us a run for our money here. He wants to try and make it 2 in a row early on this year, but what is the straight line speed of the Ferrari like? Seems to be pretty damn competitive. Once again here as we head back down towards turn 1, obviously having to let off the battery once again there. That's Hamilton going really defensive on his teammate Yuki Tsunoda. Back into turn 1 as well as we make a little bit of a mistake through that first corner. Tsunoda's done it. He's up into P3 now of this Grand Prix and could be on for his first ever Formula 1 podium. I mean, I wouldn't count him out of the victory just yet here. As Charles Leclerc and I now defending for all our worth against the Ferrari. We've hung on this time round. We've got one more lap to go. On to the final lap then of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. There's no way. There is no way we can defend this from Charles Leclerc right the way through to the checkered flag here. We've got so many cars just so close behind us here trying to make something work. But we just need to save the battery as best as possible there. And it's going to be a drag race down towards the start-finish line unless I do something stupid before then here. But Yuki Tsunoda as well is there ready and waiting. Hamilton has had to concede into P4 in what will likely be the first Grand Prix this year where he hasn't scored a podium. Hasn't finished inside the top 2 even, I should say, because he has been, 2 wins and a second so far this year. But can Charles Leclerc make it 2 race victories in a row so far in Season 2? Or are we somehow going to pull off the upset here in the Baku City streets? I'm trying to avoid wheel spin like no tomorrow as we head through the old town for the final time here. Look at Charles Leclerc there. He's got a big run on us down to the outside in towards the end of the hill there. And look at that Charles Leclerc. We've given him the room. We tried to give him some racing respect there. We'll have to keep the nose up the inside. Not having that from Charles Leclerc right at the end here. Yuki Tsunoda is now coming at us as well as we head out through the final couple of corners here. Tsunoda backs out of it. We've hit the wall there. That's giving us some front wing damage. Look at this. It's just carnage out of the final corner here. Drain the battery up towards the start-finish line. I've got no idea who's going to win this. Hamilton, look at that behind. Everyone closing in, but somehow we're going to do it.
Fantastic drive. Just fantastic. You deserved that race win.
And so ends another Azerbaijan Grand Prix, a fascinating race and a well-deserved victory. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
The faces on our top 3 look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all. Let's have a look then at the drivers' standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. Look at where they finished compared to where they started. It's not easy to cut through the field like that in Formula 1, so it was a great effort.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Another team that excelled today was Williams, who make further progress up the table. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula 1. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Well, I don't know what to say. I'm genuinely lost for words at the end of that race there. 9 cars within 2 seconds there. 7 cars separated by 7 tenths at the end of the Grand Prix. That has got to be the closest Formula 1 finish of all time there. But somehow, out of nowhere, we come through to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix there. The straight line speed that we had all weekend there coming in clutch at the end of the day. It helped us defend for so many laps against Lewis Hamilton there, and towards the end of the Grand Prix, I really thought we wouldn't have the tyres to hang on in there. But Charles Leclerc tried it, he tried it, but we weren't having any of it in towards the final couple of corners there. I don't genuinely believe we would have been able to get the power down to get the run back on him as well at the final corner there, so we had to go for the send. But look at that. We are a Formula 1 Grand Prix winner once more there. Lewis Hamilton in P2 somehow in order that comes through. Yeah, second best ahead of Yuki Tsunoda at the end of the Grand Prix there. Charles Leclerc, Verstappen, Gasly and Norris there. Imagine telling Norris he'd finished 7/10 off his Formula 1 race victory, and he still comes 7th at the end of the day there. Perez in 8th, Russell 9th ahead of Guan Yu Zhou there, rounding out your points-paying positions there ahead of Alonso, Stroll, Schwartzman, Ocon there. You got both Williams, Giovinazzi there. Ricciardo ruins his podium streak down in P18 and no idea what happened to him on a 4-stop strategy. Yeah, that was not the race from Daniel Ricciardo there. Lundgaard, Mazepin, Schumacher with Carlos Sainz, the only man not to make it to the checkered flag there. But it does mean championship-wise, we get promoted all the way up into P8 with that brilliant result there. Hamilton, though, pretty much double the points of anyone else as Charles Leclerc and Ricciardo now tied in P2 on 45 apiece there. Verstappen and Norris tied P4 as well on 40 points. Sainz ahead of Tsunoda there, 1 point between them. We, like I said, leapfrog all the way over to P8 there, ahead of Lance Stroll and George Russell there, tied on 12 points apiece for the Aston Martin duo. Gasly ahead of Perez, Alonso ahead of Guan Yu Zhou there, and Ocon gets the better of Valtteri Bottas, who jumps Antonio Giovinazzi as well there. Schwartzman still yet to score, but his best result of the year moves him up into P18 as well there. And constructors-wise, winner up to 5th place ahead of Aston Martin and AlphaTauri as well there. Things you love to see. Williams as well move ahead of Alfa Romeo as well there. Plenty of movers, plenty of action, but we've done it. We're a Grand Prix winner once more here on F1 2021. You absolutely love to see it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like. Get yourself subscribed as well. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, ready for round 5 of the year. We head to Canada. Can we continue this form? Probably not, but we'll give it our best shot.
None of these videos would be possible without the support of our channel members. So a massive thank you to The Travesty, Patrick, Chuan, David Bennett, Ben Meekins and Aiden C97 for becoming channel members. If you want to be featured in these little clips, click the join button down below.